Okay, good afternoon. We are Draft Night. We are back. It's Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. Brandon, Ron. Yeah, another eventful week. So let's start with beer. So I don't have anything this week because I just about stroked out. So this is this is my beer of choice. So me and Brandon were talking right before we started recording. I've been outside for like the past hour and a half and felt like I was going to stroke out about 3 times. Because it is record heat in Dallas as we start summer a month before summer officially starts. So I'm trying to get hydrated. I literally took a cold shower right before this, and my skin still feels clammy, like it's hot. So yeah, my
Now
body is definitely not used to this.
you'll be fine. It'll be quick. We're at the Satan's taint right now, just before summer. So it's going to be hot today, and then it's going to cool off. We do have some strong thunderstorms coming up this weekend though, so keep an eye on
Oh,
Saturday
do
and
we?
Monday. Yep, yeah, we got a very weak cap coming into the weekend, and that should lead to some strong storms firing from the dry line that's moving west to east. So be prepared.
I won't be here, so you be prepared.
Oh, I'm prepared. I'm always prepared. I watch the weather like a hawk,
Meteorologist
like a
Brandon
hawk.
Cooley.
That's what I do on the side. So, you know,
I like it.
someone's got to.
I like
So
it.
you're not
I'm a
drinking
weather
beer, you're
geek
drinking
myself.
water, which is I think important. Well, you're also a private pilot, or you have your private pilot's license, right? So that's part of it. Meteorology is pretty key when it comes to flight patterns and all the things. So I get that.
Right on.
So I did a beer just for you this week, just
Okay.
for you. Okay, it's Pluto. It's a
IPA.
Manhattan Project. Manhattan Project. Okay, you ready? It's their honey lager because I know how much you love honey beers. So I did honey cider last week, and I happen to have this one in the fridge too. So we're about to find out. It's a 5.2% alcohol. Like I said, it's Manhattan Project beer. It's called Gold Flash. It says pairs well with pizza, golden hour, and Texas. So let's see. That's a damn good beer. I like that a lot. And there's not a ton of honey. Honestly, that is not the flavor. It is very lagery. So the back end has that very traditional lager flavor, which is good. But the honey, I think, is incredibly light. So I don't know if you were to put this on a flight and let me blind taste it, that I would pick this one as a honey beer.
Okay.
That's good.
So just to recap, last week we talked about honey flavored or beers that include honey as a note. And I said I avoid those like the plague, and you are attracted to them like a bee. So I would try that one. I actually saw
Wait,
that one in the store though, but and I intentionally did not pick it up. But if it's mild, I'll try it. Okay.
it's a
Um,
very light beer. I mean, it tastes like a good light lager. Nice,
uh,
cold, like good hot weather beer. So
okay.
today, great.
Okay. I almost went down there on Friday, but we ended up going to Oak Cliff Brewing Company. I think that's what it's called.
Mhm.
Have you been there?
I've not. I don't make it that far south very often. So,
Me either. It was about a 55-minute drive from my house. This was Friday at 4 p.m.
ouch.
Yeah, that was a brutal drive over there. But so it's over if you've ever golfed at Stevens Park, it's kind of close to that area.
Yeah, I love
So
that golf course.
I've never played it, but it looks freaking awesome. Greens, fairways, all very well taken care of. I'd love to play it sometime. Um,
They have the little motorcycle scooters,
okay.
golf carts that you can take, and which are so much more fun because you can take them anywhere on the course except for the green. So you can take them right up to the fringe and park them. It's no limits, and they go pretty fast. They're a ton of fun. You have no sun coverage though, because there's no canopy over the top. So on a day like today, it would suck. But on a good spring or fall day of golf, big
Okay.
fan.
Okay. Indian Creek has those as well. At least they did. I don't know if they have them anymore.
Oh
I've,
yeah, yeah,
I've
you're
never
right.
tried
They
it.
do.
I've never
Anyways,
tried them.
back to Oak Cliff Brewing. Oh, sorry.
So this was my first time down there. So it is in a very, very, very cool. So it's right off the Dart line, and it's in this long row of connected manufacturing warehouse type buildings.
Hmm.
Um, but it is a very cool, like modern industrial space. And so it is completely different from anything else in Oak Cliff. So they actually have like a ton of different like shopping base type vendors in this area or in this building. And they also host like a ton of different events and markets and stuff inside. So we've attended an event there before, but I've never been to the brewery. So brewery was very cool. Food trucks outside. There's actually a really cool. It's like a forest with a bunch of tables outside, and they have like running string lights. And so Friday
Nice.
was very nice. We didn't sit out there because we were waiting on some folks, and then we just never made it out. But it's a really cool place to enjoy the weather. Most of the people there were families. There was a bunch of kids and stuff, which was a little bit surprising. But there was food options. Like I said, grab tacos and other stuff is what I saw people do. Now we got I forgot what the beer is called. It's just not a sour. What's the other one? Is it the Berliner Weiss or whatever it is? The
Oh,
fruity whatever.
mhm.
So they had one called Paletta, and that is a top five best beer I've ever had. It is absolutely phenomenal. It was delicious. I was hoping they had six packs. They didn't. But man, that thing was so damn good. It
Like,
was just unreal, man. So it was a mix of it was something with almonds was the mix. I forgot what the fruit was. Um, but dude, it was so freaking good. Like it was just unreal. Like they blew away, and they had some other really good beers actually too. There was an IPA I tried that I really liked, and they had a pecan stout that was really good too. That's what I started, and so those were good as well. But yeah, this beer, the Paletta, just blew it out of the freaking water.
it's like cranberry, cinnamon, orange zest. The Jolly Paleta Weiss. Was that it?
It doesn't sound like it, but maybe it was.
No. And then this may be an older one. I just went on Untapped and searched Oak Cliff Brewing Paleta. Oh, Blackberry Almond Paleta Weiss. There we go.
That's it.
Let's see. Yeah, the blackberry gives beer a nice sharp tart sourness. The almond provides confectionery sweetness, and the deep ruby color makes it easy on the eyes. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
That's right up my alley of type of beer I like to drink.
So yeah, and in a really cool space. I mean, it's huge inside, so there's plenty of room to spread out, and even have like mini parties or inviting other people out there or whatever it is that you want to do. So yeah, I'm actually like on the website right now trying to look at like what the other ones were that I was drinking. There was one that had a funny name. I can't freaking find it. Okay, I don't know. They don't update this very much because actually didn't see any of these beers when I was out there.
Oh, really?
Oh, the Lee Harvey
Oh, they've got
Oswald
a. Oh
or the Lee
God,
Hazy Oswald.
that's
That's
fun.
That one was delicious too. So anyway, that's my spiel on Oak Cliff Brewery. Highly recommend. Really, really cool
I mean,
spot,
I'll check
but
it
it
out.
is a drive for all of us in the northern
Yeah.
burbs. Okay.
Speaking of drives, I went and played in a charity golf tournament on Monday. You and I were supposed to golf, but I got asked to golf in that, which was, by the way, it was amazing. It was at Dallas Athletic Club. It was a great tournament, tons of people. The one thing that they did at the 10 hole that I thought was really funny, it was a really quick, easy way to make money. You pull up to the hole, there's some people there sitting at a tent, and they have some left-handed sticks. And they say, hey, the people in the card in front of you just paid us $150 to make you hit left-handed. Do you want to pay $150, clear that, and then make the people behind you do the same thing? And so, of course, I'm not going to swing a left-handed club because we want to win this thing. And it was a tough course, man. The greens were really hard. And so at that point, we weren't in a position to take any chances. We shot 11 under, which was not enough to even crack the top three. So that's okay. It was a good time.
Okay. I also have a golf story from Monday. So I went to Top Golf for the first time in like 4 years, and they've completely changed the club selection that you have. So you have like a wedge, three irons, a wood, and a driver. And that is now your options. And now they have something called the Easy Driver. Have you seen this?
I have the club head shape is weird.
It is, right? It's very like it's almost squarish.
What they
Um,
call it the sure thing.
yes, correct. Correct.
Yeah,
And so now the problem though is like so we started playing, and then when we got to the longer holes, whatever game we were playing, I busted out the driver. And man, I don't know if it's just the colony, but literally they've like sawed off the tees to like an inch off the ground. So I'm like,
tiny.
how the hell am I supposed to hit this? So dude, I don't get it. It wasn't fun at all. Like I wasn't the only one that couldn't hit it because I tee it up pretty high, right? I'll tee it up 2.5 inches, but an inch? Like I don't understand. Like I don't know, man. To me, it just
Yes.
robs the fun out of it.
So go to Shields. The next time you go, jump over to Shields on the other side of the highway. Go into their golf selection or golf section, excuse me, and they've got the little rubber tees and they've got varying sizes. So go buy them, have a pack of them, and bring one with you every time because it's just a turf mat that pulls up, pull their tee out, stick your tee in, and go, and it makes a world of difference. Because I'm the same way. Those little bitty tees make it very unfun to swing driver.
Yeah, yeah. And it just like literally, I tried a couple swings and then so I just literally had to drive with like a 7 iron. And I was like, I don't know. They had a 5 iron. I'm like, can I at least get like a hybrid or something? Like I don't. There's no in between here.
That's
Um,
surprising.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's the funnest part is just like teeing off, right? And just seeing it. How hard can I hit the damn ball? So yeah, I don't get it, man. I'm like, especially like you're getting a lot of like amateurs and noobs and people who don't play golf. They're not gonna be able to hit this damn ball. At least I don't think so.
They
Um,
won't.
so I don't really get what they're doing, but whatever, teach their own. Like I said, I don't go that much anymore. But if you do want to go, I did learn that Mondays are half off. So
Oh,
um, I forget what it is. I think it's like $30 an hour Monday nights. If you go early in the day, it's as cheap as like 20 or something like that. So if anybody's interested.
so a company I used to work for, I set them up with a platinum membership, which was at the time, I don't know what it is now, but at the time it was 250 a month plus taxes and fees, so it came out to like 283 a month or whatever, and that got you free golf Monday through Friday, open to close. And so, yeah. And so technically, I still have the Topgolf app downloaded. It still shows that I'm the primary account holder for that company with the platinum account. So I'm pretty sure I could go in and get us free golf anytime unless they took me off. But last time I went with some friends. This was probably a year ago, and I went to register. They said, "Is this for your platinum account?" I was like, "Matter of fact, it is. How about that?" So still using those perks, which is nice. But yeah, that's a great deal. I used to stack clients for meetings face to face, whatnot, on Thursdays after our Master Networks meeting. I'd leave there at 11:30, get to Topgolf by 11:45, and then I'd go 12 to 5, just meetings back to back to back. It was the best.
Sick. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I bet you can't get anything close to that. Well, I wonder if you can, because to me that seems like insanely cheap, $280 a month. I wonder if you can still get
Oh, it's
something like
super
that.
cheap compared to what golf dues would be at a regular course. Yeah, it's super cheap.
Yeah, it's half price basically of the cheapest club I've seen in DFW.
There is a new club that's opening up in Salina. I actually just got the information for the membership today. It's called 1876. And that's, I'm guessing, I believe when Salina was founded was 1876. But 1876 Country Club. And they've got a founding member deal that is actually pretty sick. Initiation's 50,000, which is a little bit higher for a club in this area, especially for the size of the club. But once the clubhouse is built, operational, and functional, you can golf. Every year for the next 5 years, they're crediting you back $5,000. So your initiation actually works out to about $25,000, taxes and fees included, which is pretty good. And then dues are only $800, and that includes carts, locker, and something else.
I wish I was in the position where I just had 50K lying around. I could throw it at a golf club.
Did I
And
join
just,
today? No, because I don't have $50,000 lying around to join. I did ask if it could be financed because the General Creek they allow you to break it up over 3 years. So I asked them. We'll wait to hear from them.
yeah,
All
okay.
right. Well, we've spent a lot of time chit chatting today. What do we got on the menu today, my friend?
Busy week in Dallas. So where do you want to start? So overall, we're going to talk at some point in whatever order. We're going to talk about capture the flag as the Mavs won the draft lottery with a 1.8% chance.
So
Um,
ridiculous.
Stars are on the verge of moving on, so they're kicking some ass in the second round, and then we need to draft our teams for the upcoming PGA Championship. Um,
Yes, we do.
what do you want to start with?
Let's jump into the stars because this is so exciting. I'm Last night's game was amazing. Getting a big win like that, and then having another hat trick in the game from someone who's never done it in the playoffs was exciting. But what's more exciting to me is the fact that the Oilers are currently beating the Knights. They're up 3-1 on them, which I did not want a Golden Knights Dallas Stars matchup to any degree because they always beat us and it never works out well, and I didn't want to see that again. But what I am hoping for is the Mavericks. The Stars close us up in Game 5, excuse me, and go ahead and just we get to take a break. And I'm hoping if it all works out, the Golden Knights come back, push that series to 7. The Oilers win, they're absolutely gassed for game 1 against us, and we come in and just lay the pipe down and crush them. That's what I'm hoping for. Best case scenario, we have the Oilers in the next round, but we gotta clean things up here for us and win this 4th game. Thoughts?
So I've been saying for a while now, I have a buddy who swears the Oilers are the best team in hockey and has put the fear of God into me that we definitely don't want to play them. And so far he's kind of looked right since that they're taking care of business. That's for damn sure and kind of setting up for a showdown here. But I mean, I agree with everything you said. I mean, again, the script continues to come together for the Stars. So, they've gotten healthier, they've gotten guys back. The chemistry looks good, the vibes are up. Did you see that video with Dobby in it?
No,
Talking about, yeah, he was like screaming about we're not going home or something like that. So
that's
it was good to
funny.
see him out there at the AAC. But I don't know, man. I'm a little bit less worried now about any potential matchup. I think the Stars are, more than a match, whether it's the Knights or whether it's the Oilers. I think it'll be a good series. But I mean, at this point, I kind of just feel like let's go do battle, and it is what it is, right? I don't feel there's no fear, right? There's no fear going into any series, no matter who it is. So, belief in the guys. It was interesting that now we're seeing kind of different guys step up, right? It's not all on, past years it was all on, whether it's Ben or Sagan or
And
Heiskanen.
say, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case this year, right? Yes, Miko dragged our asses to victory a couple times, but you look at what
Mhm.
happened last night, it's not all on him, which is a really good thing and bodes well for the future. So yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I kind of think they finish this thing off. They get some rest. We'll see what happens on the Edmonton side. I kind of think they're going to finish it off early too. I mean, at the very least, you're going to get at least while the other series wrap up, you're at least going to get what? Oh, is it a week off we get?
It should be at least a week, I think. I'd have to double
Yeah.
check that, but it might be 6 days. But still, that rest will be good. But that's always the rest versus rust conversation, right? Is that much time off detrimental to the team's ability to play at a high level? I don't think so. But yeah, I'm really excited that Miko, Miro, Tyler, Jamie, they're all back on the ice at full strength. And I'm really, really looking forward to what this next round brings, because if they can just do again what they've done this, and if Miko can just put his team on his back and carry them to more victories, I have no doubt. And I said this before the season ended. I have no doubt the Stars will win the Stanley Cup with a full roster.
Are you more confident? So let's say, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but assuming they go on to win the second round,
Mm-hmm.
are you more confident this year versus the same point the last couple of years where they've still moved on, ended up not being able to finish it?
The games are scary. The ass whooping that they're putting on the Capitals right now
Yeah.
is scary. So that's where my concern is for the Cup, because at this rate, I don't see the Hurricanes losing the next round, and I don't see the Capitals coming back on a 3-1 series right now. So I imagine the Hurricanes, which that will be fun though, because if Miko gets to play about against his former team in the Stanley Cup Finals, I would love to see that and just watch him. And I think we talked about that a little bit last week. I'd just love to see him come out swinging and put it to his old team.
I do think it adds. It's a spicy storyline, right? It would be spicy in the lead up to it. It'd be a
Mhm.
lot of questions, coming in the media. And then, yeah, I mean, you have to think it adds an emotional aspect to what's going on out there. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't watch him and just look at what he did in against the Avalanche and the emotion and how that really. kind of forced him to go up a level.
Hmm.
So, I think you'd be hoping for the same thing in a Hurricane series. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's scary, but at the same time, I think me personally, I'm probably more confident than I was at any of the recent runs, right? So whether that be last year or, whatever, what was it, 2022 was the run prior where we made it and lost against the Blues. So I think I'm more confident now, honestly.
Okay. Well, I like that. I like that. If Ron's confident, then I'm confident.
Good. And our viewership should be confident
Good.
because I'm a hockey expert.
You weren't like 3 weeks ago, so this is really important. This is really like impressive how much you've grown as a hockey and a Stars fan.
Yeah, I think I might be the biggest Stars fan in Dallas, honestly. I don't know anybody
Really?
else. Yeah. I don't know anybody else that's putting in the kind of fandom work that I am. So hop on board and I'll carry us home, guys.
Okay. I'm jumping on the Ron safety ship. So please lead us to a victory. All right. Anything else you want to talk about hockey related?
Nope.
I want you to take us down the path of what happened with the NBA draft, what is likely to happen, the ridiculous theories of what could happen, and just your thoughts in general.
Oh man. So I don't even know where to start with this. Let's just start with like this has been floated, in the aftermath of the Luka trade in terms of like the conspiracy side of it. There are a lot of theories out there. We've all seen them where the thinking goes, well, the NBA forced the trade. They needed a superstar in LA in their biggest market, right? They needed somebody for needed somebody in there now that LeBron's getting older, he might be done. So the thinking was, okay, we move this global icon over to LA, and in exchange, the NBA would throw the number one overall pick to the Mavs. So that was floated, right? I did see that in the aftermath of the trade. So that was out there. And then I'll be damned if it doesn't,
Mhm.
if it didn't come to fruition. So yeah, I'm not a complete expert on the lottery system. I know generally how it works. So, I think the Mavs had a 1.8% chance. We were slotted in, I think, for the 11th, 12th, 13th pick, 10th.
Oh no, it was 14th. It was 14th because we took a 10 spot jump into the top four.
So that was where we were thinking we were going to pick, right? So I've looked at a couple mock drafts in recent weeks and just said, okay, well, who's available in that spot, right? Is there any difference makers here? And just that really was the extent of my paying attention to it. But it's been consensus for a long time that Cooper Flag would be the number one overall pick. So, the race to tank was called Capture the Flag, and we had several teams outright tanking. Utah's in that group, Philly was in that group, a couple more teams just trying their damnedest to throw games. We had mystery injuries, things I've never heard of for players not being out there. We had healthy players just disappear off the face of the planet. Don't know how, don't know why.
Yeah.
So it was an intense tankathon this year to the point that the NBA actually fined the Utah Jazz for overtanking. So that's how bad it was. But no, man, like, so to me, it was a pipe dream that they would get, Cooper Flag. The Mavs have never moved up in the lottery. They've moved
Yeah.
down, they've stayed the same, and they moved down, never moved up. Um, but anyway, I mean, anytime I, I watch the lottery every year, so I fired that bad boy up. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens here. Maybe they move up, a spot or two, or we'll see what happens. And so they kick it off and they start reading the teams. And then, almost immediately you're like, okay, well, the Mavericks didn't get picked where they should have gotten picked. So you're like, something's going on here. And then they just keep opening the envelopes, they keep reading names, and then we get to the top four. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, there is no way this is actually about to happen. But at the same time, part of me was like, they're really about to do this. They are really about to do this. And so I actually had a pretty decent feeling at that point, like, okay, yeah, they're going to win it. And then they come back and they read the other teams. And, so Philly comes off the board. I forgot who the other team was. And then it's down to two, right? And it's us versus the Spurs. The Spurs, who have won the lottery twice, are widely considered to be the luckiest lottery team in the NBA, right? They won it for Wemby. They won it back for Tim Duncan. And I'll be down. I was like, damn, they might actually win again, right? It's us versus the Spurs. I know a ton of Spurs fans. I was like, damn it, they're about to beat us here. And then they read the freaking Spurs name and the Mavericks win the lottery. And Twitter and everything just erupts. Immediately, my phone starts blowing up. My brother's calling. All the group chats are firing up. It's just complete insanity. Um, and yeah, and so now the Mavericks are on the clock officially. I don't know how much suspense there is to this. I'll defer to you and see what you think, and we're going to talk about that. But yeah, they did the impossible. I guess like to start, like, do you think the NBA is rigged?
100%. Especially after seeing the lottery shake down the way it did. I wasn't watching it, okay, because I thought to myself, mid-round pick, don't really care. That's going
Yeah,
to be basically a nobody anyways. So
yeah,
my youngest daughter asked me to come in the meeting room and watch TV with her. So I did. And then I felt my watch buzz, and you said we moved into the top four. And I'm like, what? So I went and turned it on.
yep.
And then I just proceeded to watch the ridiculous unfold in front of my eyes of the Mavericks taking the first round pick. And no, that was the first thing that you and I kind of talked about was, is this rigged? This doesn't make any sense. We had a less than 2% chance of winning this spot, and this has got to be a way for the NBA to make up for the mess they made with the Luka trade. That's the only way it makes sense because there's no other organization that I can think of that went for the lot from as far as players go, Dirk to Luca to Flag. Now, of course, we don't know if Flag's going to really translate to the NBA. I'm sure he will, and I think he's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But the fact that we're going to have the chance to have three generational players back to back to back is pretty insane. Of course, that wouldn't have been the case if Luca would have stayed. We wouldn't be in the draft or we wouldn't be in the lottery at the
Yeah.
top four had that happened. But no, my tinfoil hat theory is Nico's going to do Nico things, and something stupid's going to happen where they package the first round draft pick to somebody for like a Giannis or a Durant or some veteran presence that can come in. Frankly, I don't want to see that because we've already got two veterans on the team next year in Kyrie and AD, assuming they are both healthy. So how does Flag fit into that? Because he he's a 4, 5 kind of in the mix of that, depending on how much muscle he's going to put on. Probably going to play the 4 spot, but we've got a big lineup overall because we've got AD, we've got Gafford, we've got Lively. PJ's on the bigger size of the 3 to 4, size. And then you add Flag into the mix. I mean, we don't have a lot of small ball guys. So what do you think the lineup needs to look like next year? I mean, we've talked in the past about needing a ball handler behind Kyrie, but outside of that, I mean, what does this team look like next year?
So okay, so to frame that, do you think they're going to keep the pick?
I do. I really do. I would be shocked if they trade him only because the expectation is that we take Flag. That is, I would say, the national level of basketball pundits and fans all have they have a 1.8% chance that Flag goes away. That's what I would say. So I would imagine that he stays. It would be a shock to me if they let him go. They'd be stupid.
So just to be clear, you don't want to trade for Giannis.
No, I don't. We
Okay,
had Thanasis. I mean that's fine.
okay, I don't either. Tim McMahon reported yesterday that Dumont basically confirmed the Mavs are picking Flag. There's not.
Yeah.
He kind of got rid of all the rumors, so he's not going to entertain any crazy Nico stuff. So I think the wording used was he's not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, and
Hmm.
so I think maybe he got burned bad enough that he's like, yeah, we're just we're gonna stick this pick, and part of that I think is pressure from the fan base, which is a good thing. Yeah, man. I mean, so yeah, you're right. So it's a big team. You have a ton of size in the front court, a ton of front court depth, but yeah, there's major structural issues. So and that's another reason why you can't like the Giannis stuff doesn't even make sense, right? If you traded for Giannis
No.
and who would you have on the court? Are you saying you'd have Giannis? Flag or Giannis and AD on the court together, like neither of those guys really shoot. Like I don't know. Doesn't make any basketball
Doesn't make
sense.
sense. No.
But you're still going to have a ton of issues. Let me ask this real quick. So where do you think the Mavs finish next year?
If if AD stays healthy, and if Kyrie Irving comes back in a decent timetable to be an actual part of the team, which some people are suggesting with his injury, it might be the back half to last quarter of the season that he comes back. I think they will be a little better than this year. They will avoid the play in and maybe take the seventh or eighth spot in the West.
Well, then they would be in the play-in.
Is it playing seventh and eighth?
7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Okay, then they'll be in the sixth spot. I put them in the sixth spot. Yeah, so I was thinking about that earlier. I said I think they will avoid the play-in. So yes, thank you for that correction.
Okay. All right. So I was listening to Jake Camp, formerly the Hardline, now the Dub Zone. He was on with Ben and Skin last night on their YouTube channel, and they were kind of breaking all of this down. And so one thing that Skin said was, he says, they're in a position to compete for a championship next year. Um, and I'm like, I get that you work for the team, but like to me, that's just being a homer. Like they are not in a position to compete for a championship next year. The roster has serious, serious issues. So, from a defensive standpoint, you have Lively and AD and Flag fits right in. If you keep PJ, and then you have guys like, Najee Marshall, you still have Klay Thompson. So, you can see how that works defensively. And that fits in with Nico's defense wins championships mentality. But I see a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, Cooper Flag will run the offense until Kyrie gets back. I'm like,
We won't.
yeah. I'm like, I don't. He is not. He is not. He's not a Luka type player. He's not a off the
No,
ball creator at this stage, right? At this point, right now.
he
So
could be.
no, yeah, he could be. He could definitely grow into that, but he is not that right now. And it's not fair to ask a rookie that's 18 years old to come in and run your offense for a team that has playoff aspirations. So I'm like, that's not the answer. Yeah, basically what you're saying is that we have serious we don't have any guards, right? We don't have
None.
we don't have guards. That's the issue. We have a bunch of people in the front court. We have a bunch of forwards. We have centers, but we have no guards. So that's really the missing piece. How do you bridge the guard offensive creation that you need to win NBA games until Kyrie gets back? I'm not really sure Kyrie plays next year. Right. I think this is really pretty optimistic. And even if he does play, like let's say he comes back in February, he's not going to be good right away. And he's not probably not going to be playing
No.
full minutes right away.
No.
So really, you need to prepare for a full year without Kyrie. And right now, your guards are who? Spencer Dinwiddie, Brandon Williams, Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy. That's who's going to be running your offense. So I think
And you could put Clay at the two, but
yeah, right. I mean, does Clay want to? I don't know. So to me, the
he
question.
doesn't need to start them.
Yeah, right. Agreed. But yeah, I mean, you have serious, serious offensive creation issues, and on top of that, who the hell knows how many games AD is going to play? There's the rookie wall you have to worry about with Flag and how quickly he's going to get up to speed. So, yeah, I think 6 is really the ceiling, is what I was thinking. I think most likely they're a play-in team, and maybe they end up, if they win the play-in, 7th, 8th seed, whatever it is. But I don't think, as the team is constructed right now, I don't see them as a legitimate title contender. But I mean, the question is, what's going to happen, right? Who are they going to bring in to patch the holes? Skin mentioned Chris Paul. What do you think about
No,
that?
he's so old. He is so old and tired. He has played for so many teams over the past, what, 7 years?
Yeah,
He cannot stay at a single organization. Why is that? Is that because of his attitude? Is that because of his age? Is that because of his talent? It's got to be something or some combination of those things or something else that we don't know about. But no, I think Chris Paul would be a silly pick. I think that'd be a waste of salary cap, which would bring me to my biggest concern is this year coming up is Kyrie's, PJ's, and Gafford's last year with the team. That's the
yeah.
last year in the contract. Okay. The only players we have locked in long term right now are AD and Lively. That's it. And Lively's not even that long term. I think he's got 2 more years on his deal, and then he's got the player option.
Yeah.
So there, there's if they're talking about this championship window that Nico keeps talking about, it is cracked. It's about this far open. They have nothing looking towards the future to unless they sign everybody, which of course they can't. That's where the only sense in trading Flag comes into play is you could trade him for a ton of potential cash, signing trades, or just good players straight up. That's the only thing that could make sense with the Flag trade, because I don't think he's going to have in this first 3 years of his career a good team to play around. I think his first 3 years are going to be an absolute waste of his time. I don't know if you saw his face when he got drafted, whenever the Mavericks
I
took the
did.
first pick. He assumed he was going to the Spurs.
Yeah.
He assumed he was going to go play with Wemby,
Agreed.
and so he was not prepared for Dallas to be called, and he was not. It did not appear that he was thrilled about the way that unfolded.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have been either. I would have much rather be on the Spurs to play next to Wemby. You got Stephon Castle, who won Rookie of the Year, and they still have a whole war chest of picks to build around you.
Yes,
So
they do.
it's pretty unfortunate for him, but it is what it is. So yeah, you brought up some great points, and on the salary front, some of what you said is going to lead to some moves, right? Gafford's gone. He said he wants starting
Hmm.
center money. He's not getting it here. I'm sorry. So he's getting traded. Whether it's this summer before the deadline, I don't know, but he's gone. And everyone's saying the Lakers. So we'll see if Olinka fleeces Nico again.
I'm sure he does.
So, but the question is like the Mavs are already hard capped. When they draft Flag, they're going to be over the hard cap. They have to shed salary. So does that mean getting rid of PJ? I think he's the most likely because I think he makes like 12, somewhere between like 12 and 16 million a year.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's 15. No, I agree. You're going to have, and his contract's almost up anyway, so he's going to be another trade guy, or yeah, before the deadline or whatever, because Kyrie and AD take up so much of the cap. AD specifically, his cap number is absolutely insane. That's another reason why that deal just made such little sense for how much we had to take on with his existing deal. So I would like to see Gafford go to a good team. I don't know if I'd like to see him go to the Lakers, because then because I like Gafford a lot. I think he's a good player. I think he does a really good job in the paint. But yeah, this championship window, I laugh at it every time they mention it, because defense might win championships. That's true, but if you don't have offensive production in the backcourt, the defense is going to be irrelevant.
yep. Elite. You need elite offensive production. Whether it's guard play or whether you have a small forward like LeBron or Luca or
Mhm.
or Giannis, right? You need somebody that when the going gets really tough and you're down one and there's 2 minutes left, who is it that's going to go get your bucket, right? We had one of those guys, and now we don't. So okay, how about this? So here's what I want them to do. I want to trade
Okay.
AD. I want them to let Kyrie go. I want to trade PJ, trade Clay. Basically, I want to get rid of everybody not named Flag or Lively, get as many picks as we can get, and rebuild.
So are you going to be going exclusively off the draft? Or are you going to try to get any free agents?
It would be a combination, right? That's why I could almost see, honestly, if we did the rebuild route, actually, I changed my mind. I would keep Kyrie around to be kind of the vibes, leadership, kind of mentor some of these guys. And
Hmm.
you're not going to contend anyway, right? You're going to have plenty of cap space, so might as well pay him. He's done a good job for the Mavs. Give him a nice contract to finish out his career. Meanwhile, we suck, we tank. I mean, honestly, we wouldn't even have to tank because we don't control our own picks, right? But hopefully, we get some picks back for for Davis and PJ, and we just keep adding young talent, and we just rebuild completely, man. Lively's 21, Flag is 18, dude. I mean, who cares? Like, let's just build this thing over the next 4 years. Okay, these guys will be 25 and 22, and they'll have experience. Derek Lively already has playoff experience, and then man, then we can add more free agents, right? Kyrie comes off the books. We'd have a ton of cap space, and we say, okay, let's go bring in whoever is good, whoever's that third piece or fourth piece or whatever it is. That's what I'd like to see happen, man. Let's just and fire Nico as part of it because he's never going to do that. And let's just do a full freaking rebuild, man. Like it's literally a clean slate. We could start fresh. That's what I want.
Okay, so give me some examples of who you'd want at the 1, 2, and 3 if you've got Flag and Lively at the 4 and 5. What would be your ideal, like legitimate starting five, and then even add a 6 man in there? Like if it made sense from a salary standpoint, a talent standpoint, something that's not absolutely just ridiculous. Like saying I want Steph and I want LeBron, like an actual starting five.
Man, that's damn, that's hard, right? Because there is, it's almost, I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really want anyone that's currently in the NBA, right?
Okay.
Because I'm just like, I don't know. I want to draft these guys, right? And use those picks, use the LA pick, and just build a complete young team, build the next OKC, right? And so they have all of these young guys, Cason Wallace, J Dub, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. They had all these young guys that they drafted, and then you add that piece that you trade for, right? Your SGA. That's how I'd like to see them build. And so we don't know, right? We don't know who's going to be available when. Obviously,
No.
in the future, if you get somebody like like Halliburton would be great, as kind of your lead guard, and so somebody like that would be awesome if you could bring him in. But it depends, right? It depends on who you draft and what your needs are. But here's what I'll say, like, so that's probably not going to happen. Okay, this is just me. This is my wish list. But getting back to what's most probable, so they're not going to do any of that. But going into next year with AD, with the guys we have, a guy I was thinking about is Dennis Schroeder to come in. So he's done a really good job for Detroit, kind of being their secondary ball handler next to Cunningham, and he can run the offense when Cunningham's on the bench. So somebody like that is who I'm thinking they should bring in as a bridge to Kyrie, right? I think I'd like Schroeder a lot more than I'd like Chris Paul. Who else? Who else, could be a candidate in terms of like veteran presence that can handle the ball and kind of run an offense. I'm trying to think of, who else might be a fit. Somebody like a Fred Van Vliet over in Houston, but
I
they're not getting
love
rid of
Van
him.
Fleet. He is. I know it, but he is so much fun to watch.
Yep. Dream scenario would be like, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, he's in San Antonio now. He's not going anywhere.
Go
You
anywhere.
know, Tyrese Maxey over in Philadelphia, but he might go they might blow that thing up. Nah, they got the fourth pick, so they're probably going to trade for somebody good and try and make another run with Embiid. I'm trying to think of who else, man. Like, there's not a lot of options that I think will be available to the Mavs at their price point, unfortunately.
Probably not. Let's see. Josh Giddey. He's restricted free agent this year. D'Angelo
Yeah.
Russell is a UFA.
Oh God.
I know he comes with his own set of issues, but yeah, there's Schroeder, Tyus Jones with the Suns. That would be
Yeah,
someone they
no.
would potentially let go. Yeah, Van Vliet, Kyrie, James Harden. No thanks, too old. I mean, out of this list, I mean, I think D'Angelo Russell or and Van Vliet is a he's got the team option coming up. Let's see. This says the future with the Rockets is uncertain, especially considering the team's reported interest in Ben Simmons as a potential addition.
I
So
did
if
hear
they
that.
pick up Simmons and I mean, how cool would that be? Because I mean, Simmons could also come. We don't need him to shoot the ball because he doesn't need to be a point producer necessarily. But I think okay. So let's just say let's use Van Vliet as an option as that. I mean, so then it's Van Vliet, Clay, and then is it Flag, AD, Lively? I mean, because Flag is a 4, 4, 5, but in the NBA, will he play the 3? I mean, because you can't have Lively, AD, and Flag on the court at the same time
No, no.
most of the time. Like if
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. AD needs to play the five, man. But just being
he
real, like,
doesn't want to though, he does not want, and he's very vocal about that. He wants to play the 4. He lists himself at 6'11" specifically so he doesn't get the 7 foot designation for center because he wants to be a power forward.
you know, that shit is so frustrating.
I agree. I agree.
But
It
he's
doesn't
the
make any
team
sense.
culture
And
guy, right? That's why Nico brought him in. And it's like, dude, like, while we're shorthanded, your ass needs to get in there and get some goddamn rebounds, right? And play the five and space out the floor so that the rest of the offense can function. So, okay, if he doesn't want to, fine. But you're going to have major offensive issues, man, even if you got Van Vliet. But yes, I
Hmm.
think it would be Derek Lively. Uh, you know, yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, Flag would be your three. You put him next to Thompson and Van Vliet. I don't know, man. I think things would get really congested. I think you'd be
I
searching for
agree.
answers pretty early on in the season.
I think with that lineup, you'd have a lot of lane blockers. Passing lanes would be disrupted pretty well.
Yeah,
I think there's a. I think that's the other thing though. With those three particular players, if you had Flag, Lively, and 80 on the floor as a main combination, you'd have to have someone at the one that can do a lot of lob passes, that can just put the ball near the rim and let those guys go up and get it, because there's a ton of lob threat with the three of them.
yeah. I mean, the problem
Which is
is
where Chris Paul could make sense.
the problem is you have one true ball handler in that situation, and so that's what would cause you issues. But honestly, Flag is a pretty damn good passer and is actually really good at throwing lobs. So, if you have him and Van Vliet in there, but neither of them are Luca, when it comes to finding people in the offense
No.
or throwing those types of passes.
His vision's insane. That's one of the biggest things that I miss about
Yeah.
his presence on the court, is being able to create and find guys who aren't open, that are just somehow open.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, this changes the calculus on everything. Because now it's like, okay, now you have to build a completely different type of team. You have different problems now, right? You have different cap problems. So there's going to be some moves this summer now where I wasn't sure there were going to be before. So we'll see how they address that. Now, there's a difference here between the basketball side of things and the emotional side of things. So obviously, it's been a crazy emotional roller coaster since February 2nd. I mean, did this bring you all the way back in? Are you, 100% excited about the Mavs again?
No, I love the idea of Cooper Flag being on the team, because he is a 20-year player, assuming he doesn't get fat. If he gets fat, then he might be a 5-year player. So that's it is exciting. It is fun. It is novel. Am I all the way back in? No. I think I need to see some very calculated, smart off-season moves with team management to bring me back in at a high level. I'm still going to root for them. I still want them, of course, to win and be successful. But I think it's going to take a lot more than just Cooper Flag to make me happy.
How do you feel about Nico being let off the hook?
This is, of all the possibilities to redeem him, this is what had to happen for him to basically, yeah, you're right, get a clean slate and be let off the hook. And it's so incredibly frustrating, because he does not deserve that. He deserves to be crucified in front of the entire league and all the fans for the mistakes he made with this trade. So it's very frustrating that the league more or less made this happen, because he is let off that hook, and it frustrates me so much.
Yeah, and just to be real, I think this actually hurts the Mavs' long-term title chances because now you're going to keep Nico around, and he's clearly incompetent, and now you're depending on him to put together a title contender around Flag, and I have zero confidence he can do it, right? Like he's going to find a way to screw it up.
Hmm.
So the smart thing would be just to fire him and just put somebody else in place, right? Somebody that's done this before, has experience, you know, and just somebody that's respected and credible around the league. Like they reported, so Mark Stein, oh no, Zach Lowe, he was in the room for the draft. So he actually watched like the ping pong balls and like it all put together, where they
Oh,
take away your
really?
phones and all of that stuff. And he was on with Bill Simmons and they were describing what it was like to be in the room and the process. And when the Mavs won, all of the executives and stuff that were in the room, they started laughing and they started cracking jokes and they were snickering to each other, saying, "Well, defense wins championships." So that's how the main power brokers in the league view Dallas, view Nico, view the Mavericks. Like we're a joke, man. Like how many times people are gonna that I was talking to a Spurs fan about this. He was like, "Man, I wonder if we should try to move up to the number two pick." And I was like, "If you guys are gonna do that, you should do it now while Nico's in charge, right? You should fleece him while you get the chance." So that's how the
Absolutely.
rest of the league views us. we're kind of the laughing stock, and I think people are just waiting for for the opportunity to pounce. We'll see, man. I'm still mostly out. I consider myself really to be more of like a general NBA fan at this point. So, I'll watch plenty of games and do all of that stuff. And, we'll continue to follow and talk about this. But yeah, what a week, man. What a crazy week. How much things have changed. No matter what we do, no matter how hard we try, we can't stop talking about the Mavericks. It is,
Nope.
yeah, it's literally like, you know, I don't even know how it's like, it's like an STD, man. We just can't get rid of it. Like,
Herpes.
yeah,
Yep.
it just keeps coming
The
back.
Mavs are herpes. Well, before we jump to our last segment, which is the PGA Championship, I want to talk real quick about the AL West and how tight this race is at the moment.
Yeah.
The Rangers and Astros are basically knotted up right at the 4 and 5 spot. The Mariners are starting to run away with the division to a degree. It's still very early. They've only got a 2-game lead, but that's just it. Like it looks like it's a chasm of difference between the Mariners and the Rangers, and it's only 2 games.
Yeah.
So the Angels look like absolute dog shit. So I'm kind of surprised to see that happen, but I'm never opposed to Anaheim being the worst team in the division. So pitching has still been great. Hitting has gotten better. This new coach has, it seems that he's been an infusion of vigor for the at bats. So we'll hope to see that continue. But it's a tight race in the AL West at the moment.
Yeah, it's tightened up considerably in the last week. I would say really probably none of the teams are playing that well. So, they're kind of just a bunch of teams treading water right now. But the Lone Star Series kicks off tomorrow night.
Yes, it
So
is.
Houston is on its way to Arlington, and we'll kick this thing off into what will essentially, um, I guess, decide the third place, third place in the division. As you're right, they are basically tied right now. So the Astros struggle has been on the other side. They are not good at pitching. They basically have one
Yep.
reliable pitcher, and it's bit them in the ass many times this season already. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, with the Astros offense versus the Rangers pitching staff. I don't know if Hunter Brown
God,
is going. Let's see.
I don't know. I don't know. But the over the last 5 games, the Rangers have only allowed 7 runs,
Yeah,
which is, oh, excuse me, 8 runs. Excuse me, 8 runs over the last 5 games, which is pretty damn incredible. You got 3 1-run games and then a 3 run and then a 2 run. I mean, the pitching has just been absolutely incredible, and the fact that we are, God, how many games in the season are we? 41 games in the season, and the pitching is still holding up that consistent. I have no doubt that the pitching is going to stay good. These bats just have to get going. Sorry, go ahead. You were talking about the pitching staff.
yeah, I just want real quick preview of tomorrow night. I'd say if you're gonna watch a Rangers game, tune in tomorrow night because it is the Astros eighth versus the Rangers eighth. It's Jacob deGrom versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown is one of the leaders in the AL ERA. He has a 1.48 ERA. He's turning into a superstar before our eyes, so that's going to be quite the showdown, ace on ace. So I will be tuning in. I wish I could get out there, but I got to pack and stuff. So I can't go out there, and I'm gonna miss the majority of this series. But I will be watching tomorrow for what will be for sure a really fun game.
It will be. I'm very excited. Yeah, DeGrom's got a 2.24 ERA, so not too far off, but still not as good. So we will see how that unfolds. All right, Ron, is it time for the main event of today's show?
This is the most fun thing that we do on here. So it's time for our PGA Championship Golf Draft. I still have not paid off the last one because, well, I've tried and it just hasn't worked out. So I might,
It's
there's a
true.
decent chance I might have to pay off 2 golf bets on as soon as next week. So we'll see about that. So yeah, we're kicking this off. What's today? Oh, tomorrow, right? What's today? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's March 15th. Yep.
All right. So our second major of the year, ton of fun. And so to clear up some rules. So we talked about this, I think last week or the week before. So we can't draft any players that have already been drafted this season.
Correct.
And then so we are each drafting a 5-man team, and each of our teams has to be composed of at least one foreign player, at least one live golf player, and at least one player outside the top 20. And I think that's it, right?
Let's say foreign.
Yes, one foreign player, one live golf player, and one player outside the top 20.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's just kick it off, man. Wait, you had the number one pick last year. Or not last,
I
major.
I did. So you have the number one. Are we gonna just 1-2, or is this gonna be snake draft again? Because we snake drafted it last time.
What do you want to do? I don't care.
Let's just go 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
All right. So hold on, I'm making our little columns here. Okay. So I'm gonna with the first pick. So there's several good options here, man. And so this is actually pretty tough for me. I think I have a feeling who you're going with, and I kind of want to take him, but I'm going to play a little bit of a game with some of the categories. So I'm going to take Ludwig Alberg with my number one overall pick.
Oberg.
So
Okay.
he played pretty well and then kind of choked at the end of the Masters. Yeah, which is not his first time falling apart. So, I'm just betting on the fact that maybe he's kind of tired of falling apart like Rory was and will actually come through this time, which actually now I'm kind of already regretting because my team as a whole also completely fell apart down the stretch. Um, but yes, Oberg is my number one pick. I mean, his swing is maybe the most beautiful swing in golf. He's a young stud, a complete beast, and so I'm gonna have a ton of fun watching him. So that's the pick.
Okay. So who do you think I'm picking then?
I think it's
Hang
Justin
on, one
Thomas.
second, one second, one second. I was going to write it down. Yeah, it's Justin Thomas. It is JT. Justin Thomas will be my number one pick. Please and thank you.
So did he? Is this the major that he's won previously?
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
2017, Quail Hollow.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about that. And so, man, I'm a big fan of Justin Thomas. So it was hard for me not to take him. I mean, he's playing great. I think he's like the sixth ranked golfer in the world right now. So, I mean, he loves this course. So, definitely expect him to be in the thick of it down the line. So, can't argue with that. I think it's a good pick. Okay. So, moving on, I'm trying to figure out who you're going to take next. See, this is the game I was playing when I was coming up with my team. I was like, I think I know who Brandon wants in certain spots. Okay, so I'm going to I mean, if you're going to leave him to me, I guess I have to take him. He played okay in the Masters. He really broke through last year. He's always been a favorite player of mine because he's kind of short, like I am, but yet manages to compete at a high level. So I'm going to take Xander Schauffele as my number
Okay.
two, which I think is about as strong as a number two as I could possibly hope for.
He
So
won last
he's
year.
yeah, yeah. So, hopefully he can build on what he did at the Masters and finish a little bit higher and help out my team.
All right. I'm going to take my live pick here, and I'm going to go with Mr. Brooks Koepka.
I knew it.
I think this major is his return to greatness. I think he's going to come back in a big way.
I knew it. And that was the danger because that was
Did
going to be
you?
my pick. Yeah, that was going to be my
Ah,
pick. The thing about Brooks is like, I mean, he always shows up for the freaking majors. He just
hmm.
does, man. I mean, he loves this. This is what he lives for. And so, man, that's unfortunate for me. So I took a gamble, it didn't pay off. Okay. So I'll take my live player then. So outside of DeChambeau, he's probably played the best golf in live this season. So I'm taking Joaquin Niemann. So younger
Okay.
player. I could have taken him in the foreign spot, I guess, but I wanted to secure Oberg first. He choked a major a couple years ago. I think it was a PGA Championship actually, where he was playing really well and then
Mhm.
collapsed down the stretch. So hopefully a couple years of extra of experience and just building on his recent run at Live. That's what I'm hoping for here. I was a little bit surprised at how slim the pickings were. It's going to be really interesting the rest of the year when we're doing these drafts of who we're going to pick because besides them, it's like Mickelson, it's guys like that so you're kind of hoping for, or Cam Smith or people like that. But it's getting hard for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, who's next for you?
Oh man, I'm gonna go. Mm-mm-mm. I think I gotta go. This is gonna be my foreigner pick. I'm gonna go with Tommy Fleetwood. What?
Wow.
Did you want Tommy Fleetwood?
is literally on my list. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm a big fan of his game. I think he's fun to watch. I think he's got a lot of really good talent, and I just think he's going to do well in this tournament.
He has my favorite hair in golf. So he kind of has that flowing, like, yeah, like like the McConaughey type flow back hair.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Got the
yeah,
lettuce.
yeah. He just and he always shows up for majors and is kind of always around contention. So damn it, that's a good pick. Okay, I'm gonna take my guy, my outside the top 20 guy, and take one of my favorites, Tony Finau. So
Ah, no.
he's he is well outside the top 20, but he competes in majors, and he's just a hell of a lot of fun to root for. He's a true family guy. Dude has like 6 kids. And so he's one of those guys that like really tries to find the right balance between family. Like golf isn't everything to him, like you feel like it is for some of these other guys, looking at you, Rory. But yeah, I mean, he's just a good dude, and he's just fun to root for. One of my buddies hates him because he got him like the last pick in the fantasy draft a couple years ago. So it makes it even more
Hmm.
fun for me to root for him. So I'm taking Tony Finau.
All right, I'm going to save my top 20 out of the top 20 pick for my last pick. Technically,
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood's number 23, so he could double up.
Oh,
It's fine. I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama.
interesting.
Why so?
So really, you're picking him to be just one of your two studs because you already have a foreigner. So
Mhm.
he's really like anchoring your team right behind Justin Thomas. So you really, really, really believe in this guy.
I do. I really, really do. I mean, he won the Masters in 21. He's a
Hmm.
good ball striker. He can play clutch golf. He doesn't have a ton of meltdowns. He's very consistent and through his rounds. So I feel pretty good about that pick.
Okay. So then that leaves me with an interesting last pick because I've already filled out my European player, my live player, and my outside of the top 20 player. So really I have the field available to me. So there's a number of ways I can go. I'm gonna take think I'm going to take my guy Wyndham Clark. So he had his own episode, I think last season two, on the Netflix show. Dang, what's it called? What is it called? I've talked about this on the thing.
Oh, swing. What's it called? Top swing. What's it
Something
called?
like that. We're getting. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Full swing.
Full swing. There we go. That was halfway there.
Um, so yeah, I mean, so just a guy that dealt with a lot of things mentally, right? He always had the tools. He always had the swing. He always had the golf course feel to win at a high level. But he's one of these guys that's a hothead, kind of like the Brooks Koepkas of the world and the way kind of Phil Mickelson used to be. So, but in recent years, he started to work with a therapist that's really changed the way that he views golf and helps him, just keep control of his emotions. And so we saw some of that come through last year. He started to really play good golf. And he's played well this year too. He's competed for majors before. So I'm kind of betting on him, hopefully taking that next step. I think the third spot of him anchoring my team is perfect because honestly, I think he has a chance to outright win it all. So pretty happy with him there.
Okay. All right. So this is my last pick.
Correct.
All right. I'm going to call an audible here. So Tommy Fleetwood technically is 23. So I'm going to make him my out of the top 20 pick. I just got Matsuyama, which qualifies as my foreign pick. For my fifth pick to round out what I think is going to be the PGA champion winning team, give me Colin Morikawa.
Wow. Wow.
He won in 2020 at this course in Quail Hollow. So I want him for my number 5 pick. He knows the course. He's played it. He's won it. Let's go.
Yeah. Before you did that, I was pretty sure I was going to destroy you. Um, and now that greatly evened the odds because, yeah, Justin Thomas and Morikawa that's a pretty a pretty strong 1-2 punch there at the top. So okay, so this is interesting. All right, so here's the team. So my team is Ludwig Oberg, Xander Schauffele, Joaquin Niemann, Tony Finau, Wyndham Clark. So that's my team. Your team is Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Tommy Fleetwood, Hideki Matsuyama, and Colin Morikawa. So we'll see what happens. Now, the first time around, we actually didn't have anybody miss the cut, which is,
That's true.
you know, I am interested to see what happens this time. I mean, in theory, we're picking good enough golfers that really probably nobody should miss the cut. But you see this every major, right? Where you'll see, oh,
Mhm.
damn, that guy missed the cut. That's crazy. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But so yeah, Masters kicking off tomorrow. I'll be watching tomorrow, and then
Not
as I
Masters.
can. Oh yeah, PGA Championship. And so I'll be watching tomorrow, and as I can the rest of the week, as I'll be in Mexico. So excited about this.
Well, I'm excited as well. I'm also really excited to win back-to-back bets and drafts. I'm really looking forward to solidifying my place in this partnership here as the better.
I don't think you're going to pull two miracles in a row out. So, yeah, I think, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? I really hope I don't owe two golf rounds when I come back from Mexico next week. But if that's the case, I'll live with it. So the way I see this, we got a full 4 game series here. Um, so I'll be interested to see what happens
Hmm.
if it ties. If it ties, we'll have to do something else. I think there's like a non-major that's kind of a major. Is it the FedEx Cup or something like that? Or I don't know. Maybe we can do one of the other events.
Let's take a look. Upcoming PGA majors. PGA Championship. Let's see. There's tour schedule. Charles Schwab Challenge is May 22nd through 25th. The Memorial Tournament presented by Workday is May 29th through June 1st. The RBC Canadian Open, the U.S. Open is in June. That's the next like real big one. That's going to be tough whenever we do the U.S. Open draft because we have knocked out so many of the best players that we can't use. So it's going to come down to some scrubs.
Yeah, that's when we're gonna start having people miss the cut.
Yeah, that's gonna be ugly. Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that. Like if all of our players miss the cut, wouldn't that be crazy? All
That'd
right,
be
so then is the bet
hilarious.
payoff going to be the exact? Are we doing the exact same thing round of golf? Oh, and do you want to have the same side bet as if one of our players is the overall winner, then they buy drinks in the round?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I'm looking to redeem myself fully.
All right, Ron. Tomorrow morning, are you going to be at the meeting?
And
You're buying me breakfast, damn it. I'm not going to accidentally pay for it myself, and I'm not going to let you out of my sight after the meeting. So you don't go anywhere after the meeting.
I
Okay?
can do that. I can do that.
Okay. All right. Very good. What else we got?
That's it, man. So hopefully next week we're talking Stars Oilers or Stars Knights. Um, we'll obviously look at the results of the PGA Championship, and whatever else we feel like to. Oh, and we'll see who came out on top between the Astros and the Rangers. So it should be a fun show, and we'll see if we can go a week without something crazy happening in Mavs land, which would be a
It's
miracle.
not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Something ridiculous will happen between now and next week. All right. Well, if there is nothing else for Ron Hearn, I'm Brandon Cooley, and as always, the next round's on us.